Okay, greetings, folks. Greetings. We got our priorities straight, so we got the coffee first, and then composing. Okay. So anyway, let me take a sip of this Java here, and grab a cup of coffee, have a seat, and hopefully you'll be able to share some things, and hopefully you'll be able to learn some things, find this interesting. I'm Jimmy, as you might know, and so this here is my actual official pilot episode of this new series. And so remember 10 years ago how I started, okay? Is a friend of mine taught me some chords. He taught me the chords, the 7 chords on the guitar, okay, the basic chords, all right? And really music is pretty simple. It's ABCDEFG, okay? I told you in the description, going to put you on the fast track to learning. So here we go. All right. So it's simple as ABCDEFG. And I will show you now. Okay, let's see here. Let's see if I can play it on the guitar. There it is. Now let's see if I can play it on my... Simple as that. There's a keyboard for you, all right? So, guitar and keyboard. Same thing, right? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Just remember that, and we'll talk about anything else, okay, when it comes to different things concerning this, but right now it's just pretty straightforward. Okay, so that's the A, okay, so what they call the octatonic scale, I believe, or the symmetric scale. All right. And so let's see. I like the A. We're going to do the C. Okay. So the C. C is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Right? 7 notes. Just like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Right? So now if you start at C, then it's C, D, E, F, G, A, B, right? Because it just goes back and repeats itself. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. So that's why they call it octatonic scale, because it's going to be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then next octave up is an A. The same way it started out on the A. Okay, so it's just another octave up, 1 octave up. So same thing with C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. See, next octave up. All right, so now let's do the G. All right, so we're going to G, start at G. G is going to go to A, right? Because A, B, C, D, E, F, G repeats itself, A. So we'll start off at G, A, B, C. Okay, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. See, next octave up. G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Now, all right, so let's do that. Let's start at the C. So C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, right? And then do the A. A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, okay. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. There you go. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. So let's start at the C again one more time. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And then A. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. And then G. G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. All right, so now we're going to start out of G, right? All right, so now this is octave up, lowest octave there, okay? And then the G string, same difference. So the guitar is, let's go ahead and go to the guitar strings. Okay, so guitar has 6 strings, and the order of the strings are thick on top to thin on the bottom. So basically, you know, in music you have frequencies. So we have bass frequency, mid frequencies, treble frequencies, okay? Treble, not trouble, but treble with an E. And so the lower frequencies, it goes from low frequency to high frequency, from top to bottom, okay? So on the 6 strings, the order are E, A, D, G, B, E. Okay, so you have 2 E strings on the guitar. One is called the high E, one's called the low E. Let's start out the low E. Okay, the low E is lower in frequency. The high E is higher in frequency, okay? So this is the bass, that's the treble, okay? And so now E, A, D, G, B, E. All right, now the low E actually goes up on top. So why do you call it the low E if it's sitting up high on top of the fretboard on the guitar? Because it's called a low E because of the frequency, the low bass frequency. And the high E is on the bottom, all right? It's going to be higher frequency. All right, so now with the guitar, okay, we're going to learn the 7 chords that go with the 7 notes A, B, C, D, E, F, G. All right. So the way I learned, the way I was taught, was not necessarily in the order A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Well, it was G and then E and then A and then D. And then I had to teach myself later because my instructors tried to teach me the C, the B, and the F, which are the 3 remaining ones, chords, the 3 remaining notes of the 7 notes, or the 3 remaining chords correlating to those notes of the 7 chords, those 3 remaining, and I could not seem to form those, okay, at that time. For one thing, you have to condition your fingers, because when you're using your fingers on the strings, it is not very pleasant. It does somewhat hurt. So you have to condition your fingers tips when you're pressing on the guitar strings, okay, in order to form them as properly as you can. And besides that, not only that, then learning how to play the guitar and having not a whole lot of room down here, but having enough still, all right. Some chords are easier to form than others. And the third thing is making the transition. Okay, it's transitioning from chord to chord too, is when you're playing, okay, it's also learning to transition from chord to chord smoothly. And so those 3 other chords on the C, the F, and the B, I was not able to transition very smoothly, okay, early on. And still I have challenges with my transitioning, no matter, in any chord progression, as they call it. Anyhow, still challenging, okay? So let's see, if you want to do it in the order A, B, C, D, E, F, G, okay, so here's going to be the A. And I know I got to share the camera with the keyboard and the guitar, so you might not be able to see it that great, but I'm going to try to get it up here as close as I possibly can and see if you can see this. So I know you ain't going to be able to see it distinctly, but here would be the A. See, it's open A string, and then forming it, the chord, the other strings, actually 3 strings. So we hit the root A note, so the A string. So now let's go to B. That's the B string. Okay, B string. There's the B chord. I'm not going to continue on saying where I'm fretting it and that's not really important right now. So we're just going to do the A, B, C, D, F, G. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay, that's basically, those are the chords, okay? And the reason I'm doing that is because I just want to show you that all these chords will be fretted down here at the end of the fretboard at the neck, okay? You're going to be able to find all those 7 chords rather, all down here, right? And then you will be able to, of course, find the correlating higher octaves up and down the fretboard, depending on and on each particular string for that octave of that particular note or whatever. That's where it's going to take some experimentation and find out where all that's at. Now, to be able to see the trees for the forest on the guitar, it's like, what are all these frets for? These are for and all the different strings. How does this all work out for scales and for that are correlating to those chords that are correlating to the notes? They're just higher octaves up. That's where you're going to start playing the same difference as you would down here. So here's an A, right? But here's an A, okay? Same thing, and then here's an A. See, there's an A. So an A. Then I'll do an A, okay? And then I'm going to do an A. So that's basically what a guitar fretboard is. Now, hopefully that will help you understand what the fretboard, okay, is about. Now you can see the trees for the forest. So these things right here, they're divided, as you'll see these dividers right here. Each one is called a fret, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fret, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 fret, 13, 14, 15 fret, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 21 frets here. This is called a cutaway on the guitar underneath here, so you can reach up in here without a problem. Well, without, because otherwise you would only be able to go this far and you wouldn't be able to reach all the frets. So with the cutaway, you can reach the frets a little bit better, but they get thinner. The frets get thinner, okay, narrower, I should say, is the more you go up from actually. It starts to narrow around, let's see, 3, 5, 7, 9, around the 9, about the 10th, 11th, definitely the 12th starts getting small, narrower. By the time you get to the 15th, it's narrower all the way up, okay? So it's getting narrower and narrower. So it's a little bit difficult to manage, but don't worry about all that because you won't be using those strings all the way up here that much anyway. It's always there. It's always the same way. It's the same principle. It never changes. Okay, so the important thing is here is to learn the chords, okay, or learn the notes on a keyboard. I'm going to show you on the keyboard here. So that's the chords on a guitar. But now, as far as composing music, when I first started out, and I said, well, I'll give myself a year. I probably wouldn't have given myself that much. And if I can't play the guitar by then, it's not meant to be. So I kept on practicing. I was practicing about 6 hours a day, 5 days a week, some about 4 hours on Saturday. I got about 5,000 hours in the first 2 years, okay? And so early on, in the early months of every day, just, playing what my instructor had showed me, and then he was coming over and we were jamming together besides, and all these things, I started hearing melodies, and especially, when I was alone and I was practicing, I was hearing melodies, and even when we were together, him and I, and I was playing, and then we would start working on songs, okay, melodies as I was singing. I say, Rob, I hear this, man, and I'd start to try to find it, and I'd tell him, and I'd hum it, and he'd play it on the guitar. He's a really good guitarist, and then I'd find it how to do it. He'd show me. I'd learn on my own, So in my own time, especially, and particularly, I started hearing melodies, okay, and I hear the melody, and I try to find that particular note in that melody on the guitar, and I'd follow the melody and find that note and keep on finding the notes that the melody was, was leading me on, that path that the melody was leading me on, and next thing you know, I had a composition. And next thing you know, I had a song. Next thing you know, in 5 months, I had 5 songs. And then 7 months, I had 2 more. I had a total of 7 songs. And that was within the first 7 months of having taken up the guitar. And now here it is 10 years later. All right? And I'm using the same basic principles, all right, to compose my music. So always keep it simple, okay, silly. All right? Keep it simple. Always remember, it's like I try to make it a mental note I make a conscious mental note to always remember to go back to the simplistics and the basics and to keep it simple whenever it comes to composing a new song. It's as simple as that. Really as simple as that, to keep it simple, right? And so my songs were having about 3 chords in each song. Now each chord arrangement is going to be different from each other, okay, in each particular song. So I'd have a chord arrangement of so I was learning what they call, I call it the box method, because it goes G, E, A, T, C. That's the 4 chords that I could play. And with those 4 chords, I would take a combination of or arrangement of any, say, 3 of those particular chords in whatever arrangement they sounded best. And then I would use those 3 chords and I would build my whole song up around it. And I've always done it that way from the beginning till now. Then years later, I found out that the classic rock 70 hits that I grew up on, the Eagles, these guys, you know, you name it, they did the same thing. They took 3 chords, all right, and they formed a whole song around those chords. Now, I was like, well, hey, that's what I've been doing for years now, for a few years now, and so I felt validated on that. So I've got something up here. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you. I'm just going to show you real quick is something I came up with here. And let's go back to the beginning and let's see how this sounds here. So this is something that I, for an example, that I said here and I just drafted up tonight. Okay, so let's see what happens. Not perfect, but so that's a rough draft recording. So you get an idea, you want to record it right away. So I was hearing these melodies. I'm having all these songs come to my head, and I was like, man, I got to start recording. So the only thing I know about recording, because up to that point in time, I could only play pretty good radio. You know, I said, yeah, I'm going to go buy a cassette recorder. That's right. Right at Walmart. Went to Walmart, bought the cassette recorder, started recording my music. I got the recordings right here in this box up here. All right, on the originals. So I started recording, and so I didn't forget the ideas, and then I can, compose more and record those, and then I was, saving them, and so the idea is like, yeah, that's not played perfect. I ain't worried about it, but so I started hearing this melody. So it starts out with the. Then D. So I ain't worried about technique or performing it perfectly or nothing, because this is a rough draft. This is to get up the idea, because you have these nuggets, you get these diamonds in the in the coal, and you refine it. It's a diamond in the rough. All right, and then later on, after you record the idea, then you come back to it, and then you're going to work on it. You're going to work on your performance, your technique. Now that's not a very good chord. That's not a very good what they call a chord transition. So it would take practice, recording. If you mess up, start over, play it as you're recording it until you get that chord progression down right. So, yeah, it's a lot of work to do that at times, especially when you're you're composing, and you're performing. The recording engineer, that's the word I'm looking for, the recording engineer. Okay, in this case, I'm playing all these roles. So that's the other thing about home recording. It's a lot of tasks going on and whatnot. But let's see here. So now, all right, I've showed you some things on the guitar. And now I want to show you the same thing I just showed you, okay? I want to show you, okay, on the keyboard as well. So let me go ahead and disarm that track there. So now, let's see. Okay, so let's see, we're getting good sound. All right, so now, all right, so what we're going to do, we're going to take a coffee break because this is coffee and composing, okay? Anyway, cheers. Now that we talked about the guitar, let's go to the keyboard, and we're going to start out at A again. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, okay? Now here we go. Okay, so A. So here we go, A. So we're going to A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. Right? Going up to the next octave up. So starting out at A. So start out at A and then up on the next octave up on A's. But there's only 7 notes, right? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Right? Watch this again. Okay, there you go. So let's name them off, right? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Right? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's it, right? And then it goes to A again. So the next octave up. All right, so let's do that again. All right, so that's the A. Now let's do the G, okay? I think let's do the G, okay? So G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Again, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Again, I'm on an angle here. Ready? G, A, B, C, D, E, F. Right? Then it goes back to G, right? Because it started at G, and there's only 7 notes. G, because then it goes to A, right? G is the last note of the 7 notes. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So if you're starting out at G, it's G goes back to the beginning. A, B, C, D, E, F. All right, watch this. Again, G, A, B, C, D. Okay, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. G, A, B, C, D, E, F. Right? Because 7 notes. G, A, B, C, D, E, F. The next octave up. G. All right, so now we're going to do the C scale on the octatonic or symmetric scale. All right, so we're going to talk about scale and this and another area in a minute too, but this is about keeping it simple. All right, so watch this. Okay, so we're going to do the C. Simple as that. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Right? C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So let's go. Let's do the C. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Next octave up. All right. So the keyboard starts out at C. The keyboard start out at C. So you got what? 25 key keyboard, 49 key keyboard, 61 key keyboard, 81 key, 88 key keyboard. Okay, this is a 49 key keyboard. Here in this case, I have a 61 key keyboard over there. Now, I am self-taught on the keyboard, and so anyway, I'm managing. So here we go. So we got C, D, E, F, G, A, B, 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 C. All right. So 49 keys, begins at C, ends at C. All right. And the same thing, I believe, for the other keyboards. Now watch this, though. All right. So we have black keys in there. I just hit the white keys, right? What are the black keys? The black keys are the sharps or flats, okay? That's what they are. So you have now, okay, I wanted to keep it simple. So we have the 7 notes of music, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Now we're gonna put something in there that's going to expand your thinking. So it's going to be the note is going to be whatever note it is, sharp, or whatever note it is, flat. So here's an example. All right. So we're going to start out on A again. I'm doing this. Okay, do it again. Okay, so even though that's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, or even though it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, right? Still, now watch this, okay? A, B, C, that's actually a C sharp. I'm not hitting the white key, okay? So that's C sharp. So A, B, C, sharp, right? A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A. So even though it is true that it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, we're hitting the sharp notes or the black keys, all right, on particular notes. Once again, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A. All right, but don't worry about that. But that's where when I just go, that's actually A through A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, but it doesn't sound good or right as far as the tone goes and the melody, okay, and the scale. So now let's do it again. So there's A through G through, and the next octave up A, but that's without hitting the flats. But once again, remember, it's true, it's A through G and then A again. However, how it's going to sound good is, and so how because it's right, and it's the right way to play it is use the sharps in there as well. So we're going to use the A, B, C sharp, E. Okay, once again, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A. Now, G sharp, and then A. If I were to go A and then down, that's A flat, as well as G sharp, A flat, G sharp, A flat. So G, A, okay, G, and then that's white key and black key is sharp, but G, A to white key. And then if I go down from A, down to black keys, A flat. So G sharp and A flat are the same note, okay? So do I know how to form a chord? Yeah, there's a chord. So I started at the C note. That's the root note. And because of that, I was doing this tonight to get ready for this broadcast. That's what I was doing. And I said, I found myself, kumbaya, my Lord, right? So here's, believe it or not, I've just heard that, right? And I started playing it. I've never played Kumbaya before in my life. That's a cover song, right? So now I've played it on the keyboard. I'm going to go ahead and play that for you right now. So I got it right, though. It took me a little bit. It took me a few tries, more than a few, but I finally got it. So let's go ahead and play it. Now, when I did my first halfway decent recording of that. Took me a few tries and more. I had noticed that, man, I was trying to hurry myself, and I'm like, no. It's like, you know what? Hear it, feel it, pay attention to it. And I said, this needs to be played slow because it's solemn, you know? So I really like it. So yeah, okay. All right. Now, that's practice. So now, I said I'm going to fast track you, right? I'm going to show you the fast track from getting from say you don't even play an instrument, all right? Like I didn't. And to show you and put you on the fast track to what? Taking up an instrument, going out and buy one, get a keyboard, get a guitar. My first guitar was a $108 guitar, Fender Starcaster hollow box, okay? Brand new. And then guitar, learn the 7 chords on the guitar, or here, get a keyboard, say here. So that's a chord. So it's C, every other key, every other white key, the white keys. That's a chord. All right. So there you go. It's simple as that. You can find the chords on your guitar, find the chords on your keyboard. They are there. Learn where they're at. Learn how to place your fingers, whether it's and fret them on the guitar or on the keyboard. So let's take a look at this real quick. But before we do that, learn those 7 chords, right? A, B, C, D, E, F, G are the 7 notes. Learn the correlating chords that go and how to perform those that go with those notes. And the A, B, C, D, E, F, G on here, it's like 3 fingers, man. All right. The G is 3 fingers that I'm fretting on 6 strings. Out of 6 strings, I'm fretting 3. All right. Let's go to the A. The A, I'm doing 3 fingers. I'm fretting on 3 different strings, right? The B, same thing. 3 different fingers on 3 different strings. The C, same thing. 3 different fingers on 3 different strings. Same thing for the D. And same thing. And for the E, it's only 2 strings. And then the F, it's actually 4 strings. But that's okay. That's why it was difficult for me to learn the F, right? 4 strings. And then A, B, C, D, E, F. And then back to G. All right. So you do that. You learn that. All the keys on the keyboard always stay in the same place. So you go back to them, always going to be there in the same order, same arrangement. And so for your guitar, you learn all your chords down at the top of your guitar, well, the end of your guitar towards the neck, right? And then you'll be able to whatever. Like here, I'll give you the low C on the keyboard. I'll do the chord. Now, what's this? The rest of the keyboard, right? The same thing for the guitar. The guitar, okay, so I'll do the C, all right? So let's do the C. Right? Right. Okay, so now the rest of the guitar, watch. Whether that's A, okay, whether that's A, or B, or C, or D, or E, or F, okay, or G. All the rest of the guitar is for what? The same thing. It's the same thing, just higher up the scale, higher up the octaves, okay, higher up the order of things, higher up the frequencies, okay, the same notes but higher up the frequencies. So same thing. So C, here's a C, here's a C, here's a C. All right, I went up the keyboard. Now let's see an F. Okay, so if I'm gonna do this right. Right now G. then it doesn't even go up. So it doesn't go up any further past that. That's why it's nice to have the 88 or 6188 keys. All right, so let's do an A, right? Okay, so you see what I'm doing? The rest of the keyboard is the same thing as the low end. The keyboard is the same. The rest of the guitar is the same thing as the low end of the guitar, where you're doing your 7 chords. And same thing for the keyboard. It's the same layout. It just repeats itself. B, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, 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 right? C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. You get it? All right, so that's the same thing. All it does is go from C to B, then repeats itself, from C to B, repeats itself, again, higher up, C to B, higher up, next key up, C, right, C to B to C. Same thing, basically, same difference to simplify it for the guitar. All right, and now, there you go. So what else can I show you? Okay, I think that might be it. So, to fast track, to go from not even knowing how to play an instrument, all right? Because I've done this. So go out and buy a guitar, all right? I bought a nice Casio CTK 558 keyboard used on sale. My first one was $50. It was a different Casio at a pawn shop that I did business with. This one I bought at Guitar Center. Of course, the pawn store one was used, but this one was used. Nicer, all right? As far as the looks go, and only cost me like $40. There's nothing wrong with it, all right? And so I bought it. I was blessed. I bought it, sitting over there, 61 key. And so just get yourself an instrument. I said, hold on, let's go up to Target right now. There's a guitar that was up there for $150. Went back up there. Sure enough, it's still sitting there marked down 108. That Fender Starcaster hollow box, not even an acoustic electric, but just a hollow box. I'm left-handed. It was a right-handed guitar. This way, the pickguard down bottom. I took it and flipped the strings, right? After I took the guitar, went like this, because I took the strings off and then just set them back up the same way they were set this way. Heavy to light, top to bottom, thick to thin, and the pickguard's up here now. And that's where I started learning how to play the guitar and came up with 7 songs in 7 months, and that's where I began. Then I seen the keyboard after I was making some accomplishment on a guitar. The Casio keyboard at the pawn store, picked it up for $50, and started playing that a little bit and putting it in my music, and whatnot. And then gave that one away and got this one, bought this other keyboard, and then just practice, And so then I recently got the MIDI keyboard where you use your VSTs, as I showed you here. There's a VST, right? There you go. So that's actually the Neo piano. Now, oh, that's the wrong one. There it is. I was wondering why the keys on the virtual keyboard were not moving. But watch. That's my mouse, but I don't want to use the mouse. I got to use the keys here. So now, the fast tracking, right? You not even playing an instrument, going out and buy an inexpensive instrument, learning the basics, because that's the most essential. And that's where you're going to... I always use the basics. Whenever I compose new songs to this day, 10 years later, I only use the basics. I use the basics. That's it. Okay? And then I'm going to start there, and then I'm going to now get a little bit more elaborate in certain things in different tracks. Okay? But I'm going to be using what? The basics. Up and down the fretboard, up and down the keyboard, right? It's the melody. That's where the elaboration comes in. You're starting to elaborate with the melody, and you're starting to get a bit elaborate with the melody besides. And if somebody were to say to me, okay, first of all, let me say this. What is the quickest way to some place, right? We all know that's a straight line, right? The quickest way between 2 points, right, is a straight line. So this is what I'm giving you. I'm giving you a straight line from not even playing an instrument that you might want to. You've been thinking about it. No matter what age you are, I mentioned earlier, we have gifts inside of us that are there. And if I, thank God, I did not die before I was 51. But if I had, I would have never discovered that there was a gift inside of me to be able to start to learn how to play the guitar, record, perform, compose is, I will say, is my biggest gift. And I'm best at composing. Better at composing than I am even performing. But I have to be good at performing as well, right? Because I record, and then I record the performances of my compositions, because my performances reflect my compositions completely, 100%. And then my audio engineering that I want to be excellent besides, as best as I know how and best as I can. But once again, I keep it simple. I keep it simple. I keep it simple. I keep it simple. You can't become special forces, okay, without going to basic combat training first. And always remember the basics. Always keep the basics. Always the basics, because that's your foundation. All right, your building blocks, your cornerstone. You got to have that in order to even be special forces, right? I mentioned the other day, every soldier and every Marine is a basic infantryman, basic rifleman, right? You learn basic combat training. And then, say you want to go, now you're advanced, say your MOS is going to be 11 Bravo. You're going to be in the Army, it's 11 Bravo, all right? And so you're infantry. So now your advanced training is going to be infantry. But now, say, in order to be infantry, you got to remember your basic infantryman skills that you learned in basic combat training. So now you want to become a U.S. Army Ranger. Well, U.S. Army Ranger is advanced infantry, right? Special forces. And so what's it all rooted in? The basic combat training, folks, right? So the same thing. All of my compositions, all of my music, all my composing, my performing, my recording is all my creativity is all based on the simplicity of things and keeping it simple. And always, whenever I start to compose and create a new song, always resort to the basics, right? Now, with that in mind, you will be on your way, okay, to learning and performing and playing an instrument and listening for music as you practice, and have a tape or buy a tape recorder, record it, okay? Compose, arrange those compositions, get them set, all right, and then do a performance of the whole song while you're recording it from beginning to end, all right? And do the best you can and get that down on recording. And then let's see here, what else? All right, and then everything else is more advanced, like I'm learning, like I'm doing here. Don't worry about that, because once you get your creativity flowing and you're performing and you're recording and get on cassette, like I have my cassettes here from 10 years ago, right? You can always get people together and say, listen to this, and say you want to form a band or something, you know, whatever, you know, our buddies that you're going to just jam, you know, spend time with and jam. Listen to that and say, no, let's get together and let's play this song, and they'll do it. So you get the band members and you play, or say, I have this, this is what I have performed. Now they have today. You can find online. You can send your music that you already have to Nashville. They have independent places, websites where you can send your music. Say, hey, I want you to turn my song into a professional performance, and they have session players. They will perform, okay, all your composition that you have there with their instruments that you have there, and they'll perform it, right, and put your song, professionally perform your song, and then they'll audio engineer it, right, in their studio, all right, and send you the CD, and you own the copyright to it. They don't get it, you do, right, etc. and they're work for hire. So, man, there's just all sorts of different things that you can discover. And so, fast tracking to go from not even being able to play an instrument, or you don't think you know how or don't know how at the time, to where now you're going to be playing a guitar, playing a keyboard, composing, performing, recording, yes, on a cassette player, okay? And don't worry about, like having a studio or the other gear or whatever. I have advanced in that, yes, I have, because that was when I first said 10 years ago, I was like, oh man, I want to record. It's not that I got to record because I got all these songs, which was part of it. Got all these songs that I got and I'm coming up with and composing and remembering. I got to record those, yes, for the sake of being able, what would the word for it? Heritage sake or whatnot, right? And having something to show for my creativity, but also I had this desire to record. So that desire was so strong in me. And now it's gone from that to this. I got my studio. I learned how to, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, do all these things in an advanced way. So don't worry about it. But all this is all basic. It's all rooted in the basics. Once again, a cassette recorder, right? My next piece of equipment was a Memorex home studio machine. All right, you plug your instrument in and record onto a flash drive. And then you take the flash drive, pop it in your computer, burn out on CD, and it was only in mono, but that's okay. Then I got my Tascam DP24 recorder mixer here. Then I started learning how to use a DAW and an audio engineer with the DAW. And so it's all just advanced, but remember the basics, all right? Fast tracking. And so there's this story about this guy who's in New York, and he's a tourist, and he's walking down the street, and he says to the locals, he says, hey, can you tell me how to get to Carnegie Hall? And the guy says, yeah, practice, practice, practice. So, you got to practice. That's the whole thing. You got to practice. All right? But fast tracking, to go from not even know how to play an instrument to being able to play an instrument, all right, and compose and record, all right. It's desire, and it's creativity, and it's practice, all right. And so hopefully, with that said, I think that should pretty much cover about everything that I should cover tonight. Even this has gone longer than what I expected it to, but hopefully it's a great lesson here. This is episode number 1, the pilot episode. I'm not going to do another one. My first one I did, and then decided I'm going to name that as my test run pilot episode. This one is official, but every episode I do from here on out, should I do any more, hopefully I will. But also I'm going to have to come up with some more material. So we'll see where, because I'm learning as we go along too. I've learned more since I did the first test run episode. I've learned more tonight. And anyway, thanks for tuning in. And I'm going to say now, this is until next time. All right? Hasta la bye-bye. And then I say adieu. I say until further ado. Anyway, thank you. Hasta la bye-bye. Gracias. Kamsahamnida. Korean, right? I speak some Korean here. Kamsahamnida. Annyeonghaseyo. That means thank you and goodbye. And arrivederci, because I'm Italian. So, all right. And Shift 2 stops the streaming. So here we go. Do that. Then I got to go to Facebook and end video. Okay. God bless us. Thanks for tuning in. Lord Jesus bless. Have a good night.